This is Bad Movies We Love, part of the Shice Podcast Network.
If you're listening to this, you are the resistance.
Hello, Bad Movie Lovers, and welcome to Mars Madness here at Bad Movies We Love. I am your host, Nick Scheist.
The master of this stupid stuff!
Last week, I welcomed a bunch of new listeners to the show, and if you're one of those new listeners this week, you're still very much welcome to be here, and I appreciate it. But in this last week, I also took a peek at the numbers and saw that this is the most listened to month ever here at Bad Movies We Love. And there's still time left in the month. So all of you out there who are sharing the show via word of mouth or on social media or wherever you're telling people about this show, you're doing a great job. Thank you. It's amazing. I've got a great show lined up for you today, but before we get to that, just a little bit of housekeeping. The members only section is now up and running. You can become an enlisted member in the Resistance for just $5 a month, and you'll get access to Bad Movie Futures, Baimon Sci-Fi Con, Rom-Comathon. You'll get an invite to the Discord chat. You'll be entered for future giveaways, and any new shows that I make exclusives will be added to that feed as well. Just go to badmovieswelove.captivate.fm/support. Plus, you can sign up for a 7-day free trial. No commitment, no obligation. And if you like the sound of no commitment, no obligation, and you want to help out the show without spending money, really the best way to do that is by word of mouth. Simply telling a friend or a family member about a show that you found that you love actually goes a really long way. And you might be surprised, but rating the show and leaving a review on your podcast platform of choice really makes a big difference on helping people find the show. And speaking of listeners, I would love to hear from you, whether that is through our completely anonymous show survey, which you can access through the show notes, or if you want to shoot me an email, you can do so at badmovieswelove@thesheist.com. That's enough of that, so what do you say we kick the tires and light the fires on a new episode of Mars Madness? I was joined by one of my favorite cohorts here at Bad Movies We Love, Movie Miss from the Let's Talk Turkeys podcast. Join me for a borderline disastrous Mars movie, but one that is just so messy, you can't help but have fun. That's right, we're talking John Carpenter's Ghosts of Mars from 2001.
Bullshit. I am sorry. I think a lot of directors, they know when they're making a turd.
An early draft of this script was written as a semi-musical, and the idea was that Ice Cube would rap through the flashbacks.
I feel like the only thing he blatantly ripped off was himself, and that's okay in my book.
So I don't think I've ever seen a dissolve into a dissolve until I watched this movie.
I don't know how much fog there would be on Mars, but Carpenter, we know, love him some fog.
Ice Cube's red camo pants are unforgivable. What is going on with those pants?
He's got to blend in with the ground, with the red sand.
But I do get the point that this guy likes decapitating people.
There are a whole lot of little boring stretches of exposition dump. However, they aren't saying anything important.
Isn't this a great place to get cozy or some stupid shit like that?
I've got to admit, if I'm her and I think I might die and I'm in a room with Jason Statham, you didn't have to say anything to me. Just give me a look and it's on.
You got a plan B?
Yeah, it's the same as plan A. You got any fresh ideas?
Yeah, what we should have done in the first place.
Shit!
Come on, you mindless motherfuckers!
Miss, welcome back to the show.
Hello. Thank you for having me back. I'm so excited this week.
Thanks for being here. It's always a pleasure to have you here. And I know that as soon as I had brought up even the idea of talking about Mars movies, I don't even know if this came up in our conversation of Mars movies. You just wanted to talk about this movie. And I think I was like, well, maybe I just make a whole month about Mars and we'll go from there.
I'm so glad you did, because oddly, these choices seem a little bit different from one another that you're doing this month, but then they all also kind of look the same, like they all have the same vibe and atmosphere. So it's very weird.
Yeah, the only one that's going to be a little bit different is Mars Attacks, which I'm working on. I'll finish that one when we're done here, but that's the only one that takes place on Earth. So the rest of them all have that same sort of color palette and weird futurism that maybe isn't quite so clean.
No, and this one especially dipping a little bit more into horror than the previous Red films. So I'm hoping that that you were as excited about this as me, because I'm super excited about this. I am all in on a Carpenter flick.
I mean, I'm a big John Carpenter fan in general, so it wasn't something where the first time I watched it because it was John Carpenter. I was like, oh, it's Natasha Henstridge and Ice Cube. Okay, I'll watch this. And it's only sort of going back and like relearning all this stuff that I'm like, oh, I see where this falls into his career and sort of maybe where he pulled inspiration from and what he was actually trying to do with this movie. So it's really cool to go back and watch it now, especially having had like a full discussion on Christine on another friend's show on seeing faces in movies. So, you know, Christine is like maybe the high water mark, or at least one of them. And then this, maybe not so much, but we are talking about Ghosts of Mars from 2001. Like we said, directed by John Carpenter, written by Larry Sulkis and John Carpenter, and then starring Natasha Henstridge, Ice Cube, Jason Statham, and then a little bit further down in some borderline cameos, you have Pam Grier, Clea Duvall as well. Joanna Cassidy is in it, and Liam Waite also plays a sizable role, but doesn't talk all that much. So it's an interesting balance of like the people that get screen time and don't do much with it versus the names that are in the film that probably should have gotten the screen time or the speaking lines and don't have them.
Fully agreed. I love that this came at the time period when everyone in Hollywood was like, let's throw Ice Cube into this movie for mass appeal to the young audiences. I mean, it worked in Anaconda.
Yeah, it worked on me. I love Anaconda. I love this movie too.
Right? I was all in when I saw Ice Cube. And of course, the marketing for this film, when you saw the poster or the trailer, it was like, I don't remember the trailer really, but I remember thinking John Carpenter horror, Ice Cube, take my money.
Yeah, this movie said we need some star power, so we're going with Ice Cube. And I mean, honestly, he doesn't really disappoint. He gives basically about the performance I would expect from him at this time in his career in this movie. It's just funny that the movie sort of bends to his will in that way rather than it being something where I feel like Carpenter really had his hands in the character portrayal so much. And we'll get into some of the reasons behind what was going on with John and this movie and maybe why some of the acting choices went the way they did. But for the tale of the tape, this movie clocks in with a 4.9 IMDb, Metascore of 35, Rotten Tomatoes critic score of 23, an audience score of 25, and a letterbox at 2.4, though. So that brings us a little bit back up. And we close out with a Bad Movies We Love total score of 36 out of 100.
I'm not even going to argue that. They're not wrong.
Yeah, that's pretty low. I think I didn't know what to expect after watching it because I hadn't checked beforehand. And I was like, is this going to be like a almost single digits range? Are we talking about like a 15 overall? Because some of the movies I've been doing lately are sort of all in the like 50 to 60 range. So this is a little bit lower hanging fruit where I think there's not going to be much of an argument that it actually is a good movie in disguise. We can just accept that it's a bad one, but an enjoyable bad one.
That's why it's perfect for the show.
It is. I know. This is like what it's made
don't care
for.
how bad it is. Yes, I don't care. I absolutely love that from the minute you hit play, just going into the film, you're excited about it. Because you just know what bad cheesiness you're going to get. And I love that feeling, like the anticipation right before it starts.
We get the little header that says like, it's Mars, it's the future. Mars is a matriarchal society. So
that was so funny to me.
But exactly. I'm like, okay, buckle up for whatever that is. And then it doesn't really matter ultimately. It's like, okay, there's like a lady that sits at the head of the council, but she's just kind of like a judge. We don't get enough from that side of the story to where it being a matriarchy actually matters that much.
I felt like the only reason that they made that even a point, this is just my opinion from watching it, what I gleaned, is that they won't, when they're questioning Lieutenant Melanie, whatever her name is, the whole time, it's a female questioning the female. And instead of doing the male, oh, she's just overreacting, she's a woman thing, it was a woman questioning a woman. So maybe it was taken more seriously within the, the realm of the film.
Yeah, that's a good point. It would have been really interesting to see that side of the equation more, but I mean, this movie didn't have that much
that's
money.
All you get.
Yeah, that's all we get. We get the tribunal of one, and we get to see her little, like, I don't know, that high collared suit that she's wearing. So I would have ultimately wanted that to matter more to the story, but I think to your point, like Carpenter was like, I don't want my character to have to prove themselves in that way that they would had we done this in a traditional fashion. But what was your like entry point for this movie? Because this is one that I probably saw on cable after it came out.
Interesting. No, I was at the theater for this one.
Ooh.
Because like I said, I know for a fact I had seen the trailer, and I had only been into horror for like a decade at that point. And so I was consuming all the horror I could get my hands on. And I was like, John Carpenter, Martians, okay, I'm in. Like, take my money. Seriously. So that's how I went. I know I went. And then afterward, I ended up buying it on DVD and had it and would watch it just with friends for a laugh. Like, I never considered it a good film. But it has something, there's just this little magic piece to it that I can't explain, which it's rewatchable for me.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe that magic is just that the movie doesn't care that much about much of anything that's going on other than wanting you to have like a brisk, enjoyable time. And look, there's something to be said for that. Okay. A lot of films that come out now are not interested in the audience having a good time, and are not interested in doing that in a very economical manner either. So the fact that this movie is like a little bit over an hour and a half, I think, it wasn't even a difficult rewatch for me. I was watching it on the Roku channel, and I paused it and I was like, I'm going to get up and finish it in the morning. Not because I was tired, but just wanted to make sure that the dog got to bed and, she was settled. So I started watching this again when I woke up. It was like 6:40 in the morning. I was like, this is a perfect morning movie because like I'm totally awake now.
Yeah. It has a lot of elements that just make it fun. You've got, like, I'm a sucker for wipe edits and dissolve edits from scene to scene.
Got a lot of those.
Got plenty of those. And it's just kind of that simple formula of an assault and defend film. It's like Kick-Ass 101. It's very basic. It knows what it's doing, and it does it well in the sense that that's what you're in for. You're just going to get action, 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 kind of like Assault on Precinct 13, but with Martians. Basically is what he did, right?
Yeah, pretty much. And I mean, so he knew the formula basically to make an engaging sort of prison break action movie. But when you mentioned the dissolves, I don't think I've ever seen a dissolve into a dissolve until I watched this movie. And I was like, whoa. I was like, okay, that might be a little too much there. What is happening? And they go back to it a couple times where it's like a technique that I've seen in sort of other low budget action films where you get one shot at blowing up the bus, right? And so you blow up the bus, but we're going to show it to you from 4 angles because we spent money filming this and we want to make sure that you see it. And so it's like it kind of had that energy to it. But I mean, it is kind of a low budget movie for 2001. I think it's what, 20 million was the budget?
I thought it was 9 when I did my research. Lower. Yeah.
So that's really small, especially for a guy like John Carpenter.
Right. I was shocked. Well, didn't he, the only thing he did after this was The Ward, right? It was like his last, because he was like, I guess I'm done directing.
Yep. He's like, that wasn't fun. I don't even know if that's the case, but he did become disillusioned with sort of like the Hollywood filmmaking process. And so he decided to step away for a while and then came back and did The Ward in 2010. That's a big gap for a director of his caliber. So it's crazy that, you know, you saw this in theaters, because if this movie came out now, I would probably go to theaters to watch it, because it's more my cup of tea now than it probably was then. And I think I was probably expecting more of a traditional horror movie, which I don't know why, given that Ice Cube is in it, you know. It's just like his presence means it's probably not going to be an overly serious movie around 2000.
No, but if you compare like we mentioned Anaconda, that's quote unquote a horror movie, but it's more of an action movie. This one, horror movie, kind of more of a sci-fi action movie. So, yeah.
That's a fair point. I would say Anaconda does adhere to some horror elements a little bit stronger than this one. At least in like what it wants to make the audience feel. But also it's like, yeah, that movie's Jennifer Lopez and Ice Cube. This is not going to be too scary.
Well, for me, for horror, you've got to have tension building and suspense. And this doesn't really have that. There's moments of peril and like the enemy's attacking, but there's not suspense with it or over the top gore horror elements, really. So definitely to me it's more sci-fi, but whatever. That's fine.
It counts for me. I love sci-fi movies.
Yeah.
And you know, like I might have tried to shoehorn this one into the sci-fi show if I got long enough in the tooth where I was like running out of ideas, but I like the blend that this movie is, because it's like a little bit of the Resident Evil movie, a little bit of Aliens, a little bit of vampires, a little bit of Doom. So it's like a bunch of other movies that I like sort of colliding, and maybe not in a neat fashion, but in a way that I still enjoy all of the elements that exist within the film. And the cast is included in that.
Agreed.
Well, let me take a moment here and I will set the table for people who are maybe asking themselves, what the hell is Ghosts of Mars? So it was initially rumored to be a Snake Plissken sequel after Escape from LA. But the rumor at the time was that because Escape from LA was not financially successful, that they dropped it and tried to change the identity, introduced a new character called Desolation Williams. But the producer, Sandy King Carpenter, denied that, although John Carpenter himself does love that story. So this was also rumored to be an unofficial future remake / sequel of Carpenter's Assault on Precinct 13, which again was just a rumor. But I think when you have something like this and you have a filmmaker like this who just sort of has that in his repertoire, it's easy to lean back on. And I think that with the benefit of hindsight, it's a little more clear to be like, oh, that's what this is. And though Mars has a very similar Earth like day-night cycle. Most of this film is only shot at night because John Carpenter, being the curmudgeon that he is, just was like, I'm a night person and I don't want to get up in the morning to film. So we're going to do this all at night. And there's only one daytime scene, which happens in a flashback. So even when they moved from location to LA and they were on sound stages, they were still filming at night. So I like that Carpenter just was like, we're going to do things my way. I've been in this game a long time. This is just what it's going to be. All right, guys, get used to it. So filming ended up taking place from August to October of 2000, briefly shut down for a week when Natasha Henstridge was ill or just suffering from exhaustion because she had taken on the project very shortly after the end of another one. She was not like fully up to speed on the physicality required. Although I will say, aside, she handles it really well. So Ghost of Mars goes on to release about a year later in August of 2001, opens at number 9 at the North American box office, earned $3.8 million in its opening weekend, grossed 8.7 domestically and about 5.5 internationally for a worldwide total of 14. This that I quoted says the budget was 28 million. But
interesting.
the film obviously was a box office disappointment, didn't make its money back. And movies that are financial failures often find their way here to the show where they are deemed bad just because they are financial failures. So this is a little column A and column B situation.
Right. But I would also say, and you typically ask this anyway, why I would think it's a bad movie. It's the financial failure aspect, yes, but also I think it's because what we've already touched on. People heard John Carpenter, they saw the crazy poster or the trailer showcasing the aliens or whatever, what have you, and they went, ooh, horror movie, I'm in. And that's not what you get at the end of the day. And so they kind of went, oh, that sucked, because it wasn't what they were expecting going in.
Yeah, expectations are very powerful. And I think that's probably what stood out to me when I had seen it at the time. It was like, oh, this wasn't a horror movie. So I had to like have distance from it. But like, I always thought back about it. Like, you know, that wasn't a horror movie, but
yeah,
did I like that?
When you take out expectation and you revisit it years later, I can see the opinion possibly changing. Doesn't make it a good movie, but it probably makes it more enjoyable.
Oh yeah, definitely. Because I'm not holding its feet to the fire for not being scary. I'm trying to meet this movie where it's happening. And like, what is this movie trying to do? There's like a whole scene where they're just like loading up guns and stuff on the table on the inside. A dude cuts his thumb off like a moron. So it has these like weird moments of levity, but then sort of like action film tent poles as well. Lots of explosions. So once I sort of got on the wavelength of, oh, that's what this movie is. Then I'm like, okay, yeah, it's just dumb fun. Just like relax and enjoy it.
100% dumb fun.
Yeah.
That's my wheelhouse.
Mine too. And speaking of dumb fun, I know I didn't preface it before in our conversation, but did you prepare a synopsis haiku?
Sir, have I got a haiku for you?
Sweet.
So last time I didn't quite stick to the rules and I didn't stick to the 575, but I think I nailed it this time. All right. Cops, red sand, green screen. Big Daddy Martian reigns. Ice Cube for the win.
That's really good. That's better than mine. I was struggling with this one. Okay. Said shit went down on Mars. Ancient evil awoken. Last train out of town.
Ooh, I like that.
It's a little more like structured for like trying to explain the plot of this movie. But I shouldn't have gone that way. I should have gone with feels, and I did not do it this time.
You went with structure. I went with just bonkers elements.
It's good. We balance it out.
Yeah.
Well, you know, you had already answered the question a little bit about why someone would say this is a bad movie. And I think if I had to boil it down, I would probably say not the script, but the dialogue specifically. There is a lot of moments when people are talking and like saying nothing. I was like, if that's the case, you might as well just pick up a gun and start shooting, because you said a lot of words, but like it's all just rambling. The way I think I've described it in my notes is like it's kind of useless texture, because this isn't a movie about the texture of the world or the details of the Martian colony or the matriarchy like we spoke of. Like all that stuff is kind of irrelevant. All we need to know is like Mars, prison, action. And maybe you throw the ghosts in there, but that's already in the title, right? So like trying to over-explain a detail about this world just doesn't make sense in the context of the movie that's happening. So I'm like, why even stop to include us in this? So I think maybe that would be the linchpin for me, where I'd be like, yeah, that's where it begins to veer off into like, maybe this is not good.
Also, the title's misleading. There are no ghosts in this film. There are virus-infected people by the Martian virus or whatever. So the title's misleading. And then also, you mentioned the exposition, and I can't help but laugh because in my notes, really big, that's a sticking thing for me, was there are a whole lot of little boring stretches of exposition dump. However, they aren't saying anything important.
It's weird.
It was very weird.
It's like, we're going to stop the movie to tell you what's going on as if you aren't aware.
Right.
It's like, this movie's not complicated. You don't have to stop the movie to tell me this, but we're going to do it several times just to make sure that you guys are aware of the fact that we are on Mars and that the Martian fart cloud has overcome all of the workers here. This is the second movie in a row where there's just like a giant red plume of something overtaking people.
Right.
So we're on a streak. We've got to try to keep it alive. I don't think Mars Attacks had it, but yeah, maybe 3 out of 4 still not bad for a month. Cool. All right. Well, I think that's probably a good point where we can take a look back at the trailer and hear the sultry tones of Keith David serenading us.
I know, when I read that, I was like, no way.
Well, hopefully it's true, because I want to see it. Yes way.
It's a Carpenter staple, so that makes sense, right?
Yeah.
This trailer rewind is brought to you by Roasts of Mars, the only coffee strong enough to fuel an interplanetary prison riot. At Roasts of Mars, they believe great coffee starts with great beans. That's why they source theirs from the rich red soil of the fourth planet itself. Their beans are slow roasted in naturally occurring geothermal vents because at Roasts of Mars, they respect tradition. And thanks to Mars' unique atmosphere, every sip is packed with bold, otherworldly flavor and just a hint of mystery. Try their signature Blood Moon Dark Roast, it's to die for. Or the brand new Ectoplasmic Espresso, made with a process so advanced even their scientists don't understand it. And now you can experience the full lineup of cosmic flavors at their brand new cafe in Shining Valley. Stop by for a lunar latte, a Red Dunes roast, or just to enjoy the breathtaking views. So when you need coffee that'll keep you on your toes, remember Roasts of Mars. Coffee that's out of this world. Now available exclusively at select Earthside locations pending successful resupply missions. And now, back to the show.
He should have been in the movie.
It's giving me alien vibes already. Interesting.
Okay.
Oh, bitch, don't touch that.
Yep.
That made me so mad.
Don't want to open the Martian space vault. It's probably buried behind a mountain for a reason.
A routine prisoner transport.
Williams was arrested on the suspicion of murdering 6 rail workers. The bodies were hung and decapitated.
But here...
And he did that while locked up, right?
Yeah. Poor Pam Grier.
Anybody here?
Statham with hair.
I ain't going back.
The last year that he entertained the idea that he had hair.
Nothing is what it seems.
We've got a situation here. Everybody in the mart's gone inside.
Oh, it's pretty much what it seems.
Whatever used to live here.
it takes us. I'm talking about a kind of possession.
Yeah, shit went down on Mars. Pretty simple.
We need us, and we need you. None of us is going to survive if we don't stick together.
Come on. Time to stay alive.
Follow him.
Second time I saved your life.
Yeah, run a tab!
Ooh, zingy one-liners.
From the master of terror. John Carpenter's Ghosts of Mars.
Damn, girl. I like you already.
Take my money. Take all of it.
You don't stand a ghost of a chance. I mean, the music for the trailer's great. Keith David's
So good.
great. But even the first 15 seconds of that was like exposition for the trailer. Like just on-screen text like, guys, we don't need the explanation. It's in the title.
Don't trust you to follow the trailer.
Yeah. But we know it's going to be on Mars, okay? Like, but yeah, so I think the trailer is still a pretty, I think the one thing that sort of maybe derails it is from the master of terror. It's like upselling the horror elements of it when the trailer is like playing techno metal or something, like music you'd hear in the Matrix, you know. So like you mix that with what we see on screen, Ice Cube delivering one-liners, dual wielding chrome Uzis.
That's such a gangster move. I love it.
I mean, when he shows back up, I was like, oh, wow. So I was like, he really had his custom guns for this one because he wanted to make sure that like he was super prepared. But it's like, we see with Nick Cage with his the dual gold pistols in Face Off. So it's just like a character thing to make it seem like, he does this a lot. So he's got to have his custom guns for it. But yeah, I mean, the trailer looks pretty fun. So I'm curious as to why they leaned on the master of terror part of it. Like, because are you really trying to convince the horror audience to go see this and then be disappointed by it, which is not always a great idea because that will like tank you in word of mouth, where if this sort of was pitched as like an 80s style action flick that was just supposed to be fun, like a Commando or something like that.
Right.
I think you get that audience, and like those movies did well for a reason.
No, I'm with you. And watching the trailer just reminds me they leaned on, this is the ugly, scary alien. They show his face and the whole, I don't know how they did it, but just the different color where it's supposed to be that Martian soul or whatever. It's like moving from body to body, kind of like that movie Fallen did it, where you have like soul vision.
Yeah.
It's like blurry in a different color.
If there's going to be a ghost possessing people, I want that ghost POV. Okay. I want to see it go in somebody's ear, which it does. But yeah, like it's still fun. I think the movie itself sort of grapples with the people in it taking it seriously, but the movie not trying to take it seriously. But I like the design of like Mars Daddy or whatever the hell his name is.
Big Daddy Mars.
Big Daddy Mars. He looks
a good name.
menacing and crazy, and like he's got very intense nipple piercings. So he obviously likes pain, right? Like I think that's like a little bit of Hellraiser elements in there. So I like that, but he's not cast in a way, neither in the movie nor in the trailer, where it's like withheld as a horror movie character would be, like with Jason or Michael Myers. Like these guys are off screen a lot of the time. Yeah. And this, it's like, no, this guy's like right at the forefront of the trailer and of the movie for quite a bit of it.
There's no tension about who's this guy and when's he sneaking up? You don't know where he's going to be. But the thing that makes me laugh about his look is I was watching this movie with my buddy Ted, and he's all, hey, it's Danzig. I was like, I could see that.
That would have been a fun casting choice. I think the first time that we like fully meet Mars Daddy is Statham in a flashback. Oh yeah, it's a flashback within a flashback at that point, because the whole movie is a flashback other than
Yes.
Natasha talking to the council. So in her flashback, Statham has a flashback, which again, like I've never seen a dissolve within a dissolve or a flashback within a flashback. But John Carpenter brought them both to the party for this one.
He did that with Ice Cube too. When she's telling the story and she's talking about Ice Cube, he has a flashback within her flashback.
Oh, that's right, because he's telling the story of walking into
when he came. Yep.
Yeah. When he saw all the beheaded bodies. So like there's some Predator stuff too, with the guys cast up from the ceiling and having their heads were gone, but the Predator, he takes the whole skull. So it definitely borrows from a lot of movies that I like, and it does it in a way that I feel movies today are either incapable of doing or just not interested in doing, because I see in today's filmmaking landscape, when movies are doing a homage to another film that inspired them or something like that, they tend to just basically take a shot from the movie that they're referencing and just recreate that exact same shot. And then it's like, or they take a line of dialogue and they just insert that line of dialogue into the new movie. And I'm like, I struggle, because you're peddling in nostalgia only at that point. And so I feel like even though this movie has very clear influences from all of these other films, I don't think I saw the movie and was like, oh, that's the scene from Alien, that's the scene from Predator. Like, it didn't feel sort of just showcased to me in that way, where a lot of this other stuff is very like lowest common denominator.
I feel like the only thing he blatantly ripped off was himself, and that's okay in my book.
When you're John Carpenter, you're allowed to do that.
Right? It's homage, it's referential. It's not ripping yourself off.
So I like the idea. For me personally, when I see a remake, I'm always like, okay, well, we'll see, right? I don't vilify it as soon as it comes out, but I tend to also be a person that when I see a project or a movie that is like something else that I already like, I'm like, hey, I'm going to be nice to this and give it grace. Like if you had like a circle of friends, right? And your friend introduces you, oh, here's like my other good friend from work. We get along, like we have all these common interests. I think you're like, okay, well, we would probably get along because you get along with someone that I get along really well with. Right. So for me, that makes sense. But there's a lot of people who are like, oh, a movie is getting remade, therefore it's like the worst thing. They shouldn't do it. I'm so upset. And it's like, why? It's like, isn't it like the thing that you already like? Or, yeah, here's a movie that is too close to a movie that already exists that I like, so therefore I cannot like this thing. And I'm like, that's just, it's a weird position, because if you like A and B is similar to A, why not just give B a chance?
And for some reason in the horror community, they're very gatekeepery. And so it seems to be way worse for some reason when you talk horror films with people about that.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I don't get why you got to be so precious about it. Like you can't be open to something that comes along. I don't know.
Yeah, B will never be A, but that's okay because A still exists and B is going to be B. Yep. They're just both in the same alphabet. They both, speak the same language. It's okay to like them both. But then it's like, I'm a movie slut, so I just kind of like everything. I'm not a cinephile. I was like, I cannot be a cinephile, but movie slut. I like that.
Okay. I will join you in that category because that's about how I feel too.
Yeah, I like most things. Like certainly there's a scale of I didn't like this as much as anything else, or this is like the high watermark or whatever. But I tend to just generally enjoy watching movies so much that even the worst ones I watch, like the one I watched with Ben and Nix was Warrior of the Lost World. And
that sounded painful though.
Yeah, neither of them liked it nearly as much as I did, but I was like going into it knowing that this is a really terrible movie.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, what am I going to do? Hate watch it? No, I'm not going to hate watch it. So I was like, let's see how goofy and weird this is going to be. So that's just how I approach all films. So Yeah. Well, that's not a good segue, but do you want to do some trivia?
Yes, let's do some trivia.
My segues are worn out. Sometimes I do it really well and it's like seamless, but
We can
sometimes not
dissolve
so
into
much.
the next one. Let's
Yeah, I'll
dissolve
dissolve and then I'll dissolve and dissolve again. Oh, yeah, what I was saying before I move on from that. So that scene where they first meet Big Daddy Mars,
Mhm.
he's just in the pit, like riling up his people and just chopping heads, just beheading. And it's like a dissolve of one beheading into another. And I was like, that's a lot of dissolves right there. But I do
Yeah.
get the point that this guy likes decapitating people.
And they put all the heads on spikes, which reminded me of The Walking Dead. And I thought it was funny because Nicotero worked on this film and also has his head in this film as well.
He does. He designed his own little head on that.
Yep.
And then probably, took some of his experience here and brought it to The Walking Dead. I would not be
No
surprised.
doubt.
Yeah, the great Greg Nicotero. Okay, so let's jump into trivia for real. Let's see what I got for you. I already answered one of them.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, it's okay. You do your homework. That's good.
Oops.
So let me see. I might be able to finesse another question, but we'll start with number one. Despite having some pull following her run in the Species franchise and the whole 9 yards, Natasha Henstridge wasn't the first choice for this movie. Who did she replace?
That would be one Miss Courtney Love.
That is correct.
And I'm glad, honestly. I like Courtney Love and things I've seen her in. I'm glad she wasn't in this because I think Natasha Henstridge is wonderful.
Can you imagine how trashy this would have been with Courtney Love, though?
Right? That's true.
Kind of, part of me is like, look, I like Natasha Henstridge more. I think she handled this role pretty well, especially with like the stunt choreography, because I was watching to see how often they were going to like swap her out with a stunt double, and she does a lot of it herself. And it's impressive because it's a lot of like close quarters, hand-to-hand combat, and she has to exhibit dominance over like what we perceive on screen are strong men, which is not easy to do, but it felt very tactile in a way that a lot of that kind of combat doesn't. It's like she's going for sort of leverage, joint manipulation. It looked like whoever was doing the training for the combat was definitely like well versed in how to neutralize those kind of situations.
And she sold it, I thought, as well. And I thought it was funny. What I read was the reason Courtney Love had to bow out is because when she was doing the training before filming, she hurt her foot. So maybe she wasn't the best choice after all to sell the combat.
Yeah, if I read correctly, it said her ankle was broken because someone drove over her foot.
What?
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's not her fault.
It's not.
Dang.
Yeah.
Ouch.
That's rough. All right, let's see. Question number 2 then. This film contained a first for Jason Statham, and it was not his hair. Do you know what the first was?
Would that be the on-screen kiss?
It was his first romantic exposure with Natasha Henstridge.
Honed in on that. I am all things Statham all day, every day. So,
well, what's weird is that like when they first introduced that idea, right? She teases him like, "I wouldn't sleep with you if you were the last man on Earth, and we're not on Earth." So it kind of like a little bit adversarial. She's busting his balls. I don't really see that ever like happening in the end. I thought it was like just a one-time kind of like, this ain't gonna happen, buddy, kind of thing. And then later, it just like is about to happen, but they haven't developed the chemistry throughout the course of the story at that point. And I'm like, what? He locks the door to the room that they're in. It was just like, isn't this a great place to get cozy or some stupid shit like that? And she's like, what? Really? You're trying to get with me in this environment? And then she just like kisses him. And I was like, oh, is she going to like knee him in the balls? Or like, was she down for this? And they just did not communicate well to the audience the whole time. I was not sure, but how did you feel about the two of them?
So you don't see it coming. Like you said, you don't expect that at all. All of a sudden they're making out. But I got to admit, if I'm her and I think I might die and I'm in a room with Jason Statham, You didn't have to say anything to me. Just give me a look and it's on. So can't blame her there.
I honestly, I don't blame her. It felt like so weird when it happened. Like it was a very quick switch from her being like creeped out that he'd scoped out the sex room already to, okay, well, you are right. We should probably do that.
Well, he's looking at his options. I mean, you got the bargain basement, Jennifer Lee and Clea Duvall. And, I mean, who else was alive still at that point? I don't even think she was. And he's thinking, well, this might be it. I better make out with you.
Yeah, I mean, he was definitely crushing on her the whole time. And look, I don't blame him. Natasha Henstridge is hot, especially like at this time in her career. She had just done Species. Like she's probably her stock was as high as it ever was going to be heading into this movie. So maybe this ended up being a misstep for her. But
the two people we're talking about, they're both so hot. And we're both like, we wouldn't say no to them.
Nope.
And we're busting their balls about it.
It's like, we just want you guys to have chemistry or sort of like a hate fuck thing going on. It's like,
I thought she had more chemistry with Ice Cube. So that, that was just weird. Yeah.
She did. They actually had pretty good chemistry because it was like playful and flirty. They punch each other in the face like when they first meet. And you're kind of just like, okay, they're like equals a little bit, where it didn't feel that way with Statham. He felt like a little creepy, but then most of the movie he's sort of clawing his way back into the territory of, oh, he's not just like this perverted creep that works with her. He is like her lieutenant, or I think she's lieutenant, he's sergeant or something like that. Yeah. But yeah, he's less creepy than he appears in the first interaction. So it is what it is. But let's see. I will give you... All right, I think I can flex this in. Okay, so there were 3 other actresses that were briefly considered for the lead role when Love dropped out. I'll give you a point for each one of those that you can name.
I don't. Oh, unfortunately, because I didn't come across any of that in my research. So I'm wildly curious who was considered before they landed on Natasha.
Michelle Yeoh.
Oh.
Franca Potente.
Oh my gosh, I love her.
And Famke Janssen.
Oh, okay. I can see that. I actually could see that with her.
She makes perfect sense.
Interesting.
She was busy making her X-Men money, so I was like,
right.
Yeah, I don't need more leather on Mars. I got plenty of leather here on Earth.
Some people just want to work with, like, that's why Ice Cube did the movie. He just wanted to work with John Carpenter. He didn't care what it was.
I think he cared in hindsight a little bit because
he was not happy after the fact. Yeah, I read that. Yes, I read that.
He said this is the worst movie he's ever done, calling it borderline unwatchable. And Cube, this movie's not unwatchable. I mean, maybe for you because like you're looking at your career and thinking like that's maybe the lame duck, the worst of the worst in your career. But this movie's definitely watchable.
I don't know. Have you seen the sequels to Are We There Yet?
I have not. Probably with good reason. I'd rather watch this.
Right. 100 times.
And, there was something about the specifics of the relationship between Jericho and what is her character name? I don't know why I'm
Lieutenant Melanie something or other.
Ballard. That's right.
Okay.
They asked Carpenter and he said, like, we didn't make too much of this, but the idea was that the future society is a certain way. And Natasha picked up the ball and she said it's matriarchal. So therefore there'd be a lot more homosexuality. So basically saying that like the reason why she's standoffish in that way.
I'm sorry. What?
Yeah.
What?
Because it's a matriarchal society, they would be maybe less inclined to sleep with men, so they would all turn gay.
More lesbians in the military in the future? Is that what they're saying?
I don't know.
What is that?
Her and John Carpenter, rumored, but at least what I've read is that they did not have a great working relationship on this. They got into a little bit of a dust up. He accused her of not acting particularly well in a scene that required some narrative help, and she said, well, you should have directed me better. So there was always a little bit of back and forth between the two of them. Yeah, give it back. But then later someone asked, or she said that she was a very sort of intuitive type of actor, and he agreed and said, yeah, like she's kind of like that way, in the same way that Kurt Russell is, but I don't know if he's got the same kind of a push and pull relationship with Kurt Russell. But just overall, I guess, what did you think of Natasha in this role?
I thought, well, Famke aside, I think she is great casting for this. I think that she's just believable enough in the fighting and the combat. I think she delivers what the role requires of her, which is not a lot, if we're being honest. And I think she's a delightful screen presence. Like, I've always liked her since Species. So I have no qualms with her in this at all.
I was struggling with, not that she was the lead, but that the movie has Pam Grier in it. Clea Duvall, who is also a good actress, who like almost doesn't speak the whole movie.
Right.
Ice Cube, very charismatic guy as well, and he sort of picks up the other half of that and becomes like the co-lead at some point, which I think is helpful to the film. But sort of saddling her with the lead, like, because Courtney Love, I mean, like I said, imagine like the mess that it was going to be with her involved. And so I think Natasha does like as good as she can do, but maybe just was not at a point where she was going to be able to carry this style of movie anyway. But it's like after the whole 9 yards, like her career just kind of took on a bunch of clunkers like this, which is really unfortunate. So this being an action vehicle for her actually kind of works.
Yeah, I was going to say the only scene where I see her struggle as far as just acting, pure acting, like I can really judge acting, but the scene where she is on the floor, like having when she's possessed and she falls to the floor and she's having the memory / visions of the Martian trying to possess her, and she fights it off and it leaves her body.
She barfs it out. Yeah.
You're right. In that scene, she's just reaching for me. Like, she's not quite there. But the rest of the movie, I think she's perfect with what the role requires.
I think that's the scene that Carpenter was talking about, that they were fighting over.
There you go.
And like, it got to the point where at least in what I read, it's quoted that they were arguing about something in a scene, and she like shot back at him, and like he said, well, there was a basketball game on and I wanted to get the hell out of there. So like basically, like, I wasn't trying because I didn't care and I just wanted to be done. So we were done. Oh my
God.
Yeah. So I think, you know, some of that unfortunately makes it through to the final product, because she quoted him saying that he would show up to set every day saying, this is the worst piece of shit I ever made. So it's like, when your director
way to rally the troops, Carpenter.
Right? And he's like, oh no, I did that to put everybody at ease, like no pressure, right? But
bullshit. I'm sorry. I think a lot of directors, they know when they're making a turd, and he was just more vocal about it.
Yeah, and that's okay. Like, if what you want to make is like a actiony turd, that's totally fine. But own it, and maybe he was, but definitely weird, like, for the cast. So
I'll say,
yeah. Okay, well, let's see. What do I have? Anything else? Jason Statham was initially brought onto the project as Desolation Williams.
Yes, I read that.
But Jason Statham was not famous enough just yet. He was in the middle of the push to get him famous. And so they said, no, we need Ice Cube. We need his star power.
I'm okay with that, though. Honestly, I don't want him as the Cube character. I don't.
Well, the most recent recording that I did was actually on The One, which was also a 2001 movie with Jet Li and Jason Statham. And so the fact that they both sort of feature Statham in roles where they're really trying to like push him, but he's not like the guy just yet. Like they
He's not the transporter just yet.
He's not yet. He's hanging out like Delroy Lindo in that one. He's got Ice Cube in this one. He's got Natasha Henstridge. So he's still like on his way to being the star. But interesting that like he was getting that push still. Like people saw it in him and they're like, look, we got to get him movies to like make him the guy. But more interestingly, an early draft of this script was written as a semi-musical. And the idea was that Ice Cube would rap through the flashbacks with the Martians as a dancing troupe. Like, I don't know if there's any truth to this.
Shut up.
But
you're making this up.
I so want to see this movie.
Oh my God. A chorus line of the Martians.
Yeah, with Ice Cube rapping.
The heads on the pikes. Oh my God. Okay. Now that you laid all that out, not gonna lie, would watch.
100%.
Would watch.
Hey, Ice Cube, you thought the first version of this movie you made was bad. Wait till I get my hands on it. We're gonna do that musical idea.
Right. And how weird too that he wasn't on the soundtrack. They used like Anthrax and some other songs that also I was shocked it wasn't a full Carpenter soundtrack either, which is his thing.
Right. It was the early 2000s, so it had to be like, we got to get that new metal sound in there because that's what the kids are into. And this movie definitely gets into that too. So not really ultimately surprising there, but some crazy stuff with this movie. I think the only other thing that I have like weird bonus info wise is that they filmed all of that outdoor stuff at a mine near Albuquerque. But it's a gypsum mine, and gypsum is a calcium sulfate derivative, and it's all white. So they just sprayed everything with red food coloring, because I noticed this in like all the Mars movies have to paint the ground in order to make it look like Mars. So I don't know what happens to gypsum if it turns red, or like I don't know what happens to the mine if it's all sprayed red. How do you clean that up? Because that's a lot of red food coloring to spray all over everything.
It, I would imagine, can be washed away fairly easily because I know when I use food coloring at home, it's that situation. Pretty easy to clean up. But you made me want to touch on something. The whole vibe of the movie with the red ground and the red lighting and the dark at night and the atmosphere, the fog. I don't know how much fog there would be on Mars, but Carpenter, we know, love him some fog. And then also they talk about real quick exposition in the beginning, why they don't have to wear helmets or anything on their face because they're terraforming the planet. So I'm not a scientist, but gravity and the air and all these things that you would think would be a problem, they try to excuse it with a 2-sentence exposition in the beginning. So for the rest of the movie, you can just sit back and put your feet up and like not worry about it, kind of like Mystery Science Theater.
Yeah, I paid close attention to that because for a second I was like, what? And I was like, oh, okay. I saw them like puffing on their little vape sticks that are in their uniform. And then in the second half of the movie, they all forgot about that.
Yep.
The second half of the movie, they don't have to breathe anything other than that sweet Martian air. And they make a point, like right in the midway too, to have the guy with his like his knockoff air. So he's like smoking his knockoff air pipe and it makes him crazy. And that's when he cuts his thumb off, which it's like, okay, you telegraph that, but it's still pretty gnarly. And then everybody laughs at him and then he's back hitting the pipe again. And it's like, oh, this guy's definitely not going to be trustworthy in this situation. But it establishes more backstory for that world than all the exposition. The fact that like they have rebreathers and that most people use them normally, and then the people that can't afford them are like the criminals, the underground, they have to use these other kinds, but it has really adverse side effects where like it makes you a tweaker. So like all that was explained with that one scene without actually saying words to us.
That's true. That's true. And, more good news this movie gives is for truck owners, because in the future, apparently all transportation on Mars is Ford F-150s. So they got that going for them.
Ford got there first, and they're like, we're laying claim to Mars.
They're not even going to try to have future vehicles. Like, just put some trucks out there.
Not just that, but the year is 2176. And when they go into the jail cell, that is just a jail cell. And everything is closed circuit TV from like the 90s. I'm like, I had one of those in my living room. Like, these TVs are not futuristic. None of that display is futuristic. So it makes me think, too, maybe Mars is just getting sort of like secondhand kind of stuff, which gives it more texture and more language than a lot of the exposition. Like, the buildings are all like sort of just like concrete. It's not lit up well at night either. I think when they get there, she mentions during a dissolve that it's very quiet there. There's usually people that are like gambling and like getting prostitutes and stuff. So they sort of establish Mars as like a dirty kind of place, or at least that output that they're stopping at. Shining Valley.
Yeah, it's as dark as like LV-426 from Alien. Like that's just like, I don't know, why can't we light the planet better? Like, even women need good light. I mean, we're taking selfies, and nobody in this movie. This is a future movie. There's no iPads, no cell phones. They have like these old walkies that aren't quite working. Very bizarre.
They blew their budget on like the actual set building and the renting of the mine. They're like, the production design did not come up with any like real future tech. Even the guns are like, it's a shotgun, bro. That thing's been around for 50 years.
They had the model train that Carpenter designed that looks like a Disneyland monorail situation happening there. Like, I
wanted to ride it, in fairness.
But the model, stuff as well. Like, money went to a lot of places for this film.
It did. In my little like snarky letterbox review, since I had seen this, I try to like keep my diary updated at least a little bit. And I said, look, for a movie that mixes like makeup effects, practical effects, set design, costume, and then even like the VFX are handled well because they're not over the top. It just happens quick and then we're out of that scene. For a movie that blends all that stuff really well, Ice Cube's red camo pants are unforgivable. What is going on with those pants?
He's got to blend in with the ground, with the red sand.
Okay, well, I didn't think of it that way. He's the only person wearing red on the planet.
That was in my notes, was red camo pants. Yes.
It's a tactical decision.
It was, which is weird because he was a prisoner in transport.
Yeah.
But the military doesn't have that on, so that was interesting.
Like, the military wears like all black leather. His boys that show up to rescue him are wearing like sort of like Western gear, like sandy camel colors, like, and then he's like a black sleeveless with red camo pants. So
he worked on those guns. He's got to show the guns.
That part I understand, but those red camo pants, I was like, oh my God, somebody in the costume department needed to stop this from happening. But look, I'm talking about it, so somebody's happy.
Right? Well, just in general, we're talking about this movie how many years later? Like, come on.
Right? Someone's going to hear this and be like, oh man, I really like those red camo pants. The costume designer is going to hear this,
like, that was my idea. That was my idea.
Like I said, we're talking about him. It stands out, that's for sure. So if that was the goal, mission accomplished. Okay, well, let's go to the bonus wheel.
Sweet.
Let's see what you get here. Did it not spin? It didn't. We'll spin it. I added new questions. We got like 4 or 5 new questions probably since the last time.
Oh, wow.
Okay. This is a fun one. It's one of the new ones.
Okay.
So you can choose up to 3 characters from this movie to start a podcast. Which 3 characters are you going to choose? And what is their podcast about?
So I'm going to go with, what was Statham's character's name?
Do these characters have names? Jericho.
Okay, so I want Jericho to do a podcast about pickup lines. Like, what's worked for him? How is he picking up women? I want to know these things. I want Desolation. I just want to do a podcast with Desolation with Ice Cube. I don't even know what we would talk about. Who cares? I would just pick his brain about everything. He was fascinating to me, like, because they don't really delve in and give us this whole backstory of how his mind works and why he does what he does. I would love to pick that brain.
He's probably the most interesting character in the movie for
Agreed.
some, I think, intentional reasons. Like you said, he's mysterious, but he's obviously very important to everybody in this entire world. But also because I think at the time when you're hiring Ice Cube, you're sort of bringing along the fuck the police mentality with you. And so I'm like, it's 2176 and he's still like, fuck the police. And so I'm like, it's a very like weird sort of sub commentary to have about a movie like a couple hundred years in the future at that point. And this is still like what his character brings. I'm like, I get it. It felt very much of the time rather than of the future.
Okay, now that you finish it with that, I would agree. But I was going to push back gently and say, I feel like that's always been a theme and it's always going to be a theme, is the fuck the police angle. Like don't trust the cops and the cops don't trust the bad guys. Like I think that's forever.
Yeah. It's a very tried and true method. I just like, the way that it came across felt like it was taken from 2000 and just put into this movie rather than sort of manipulating that for the future setting.
Good point.
All right. Well, you got one more character you can choose if you want.
I think I know everything I need to know about our lead. She's pretty well fleshed out for like what they want her to be for us. So I really not interested too much in what she has to say. I want to know more about Jericho's exploits, if I'm being honest.
That's fair. I guess, I never really like think about this question when I ask it, but because it's this movie, I think I would want to see Bashira, so Clea Duvall, Pam Grier, and then what's his face, Liam Waite, the three characters who barely speak or do anything other than die in the movie. And I was like, they all like die namelessly too, just in a scene where there's sort of, it happens and then there's no mourning for them. It's just kind of over. Pam Grier dies off camera, and we just
find to mourn. There's Martians attacking.
We just find her head on a pike, and I'm
so
just like,
good, though.
It is pretty good, like especially the way that they shoot it, because it's like her real head. They green screened it out or put her in a green suit, whatever. But it looks really good. But I'm just like, damn, that's Pam Grier. She just
show her some respect.
Somebody snuck up behind her and she goes, "Who goes there?" And then the next scene we see her is her head on a spike. I was like, that's a bummer. And so I would like to see the three characters that don't talk. Like, let's hear how they feel about their boss, about this job that they're on.
I guarantee they tell you it's a shit job for shit pay.
Oh, yeah.
They don't want to be there.
They don't. I can tell. That's why they're not talking, because they would just have dissenting opinions. But Pam Grier was like the commander. She was in charge of that mission. And then it was like, no, we need to get her out of the way to open the door for Natasha. So go get beheaded by the beheading man, by Big Daddy Mars. Watch out.
Yes.
Okay, let's see. Let's get to the next question. What does the wheel have in store for you? Okay. This is a little bit more simple and straightforward, but what is your favorite thing about this movie?
There are so many to choose from. I'm going to say the scenes with the Martians, the fight scenes, the horrific action sequences are my favorite part, because at the end of the day, I'm a horror fan all day, every day, twice on Sunday. So the horror aspects are my favorite for sure. And there's not a lot, so I'm here for them when they happen.
Okay. I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. It's really not like my favorite thing about the movie, but my favorite surprise was being like Robert Carradine, and then he gets his throat slit and he's out of the movie with, again, not speaking. Or he might have one line about like the train was not moving and then he's dead. Okay. All right. The third and final question from the wheel. What is a song that embodies the energy of this movie?
Fuck the police. You already said it.
There you go.
I mean, is there any other logical choice?
Play that one over the trailer. I think that'd be a good mashup right there, especially if you just like sync it up to Ice Cube scenes.
I wanted a a LL Cool J on Deep Blue Sea kind of end trailers, like end of the movie song during the credits. I wanted Ice Cube to be rapping. I really did.
Yeah, he needed a very specific, like, Ghost of Mars themed song because LL Cool J, talk about his hat being like a shark's fin, is something
Right?
that is stuck in my memory, whether I want it there or not. But if you have LL Cool J, put him on the soundtrack. That's how you do it.
You get Vanilla Ice saying "Go Ninja Go" to the Turtles. I mean, we were
Go
doing
ninja,
it.
Go Ninja.
We were doing it.
That song, I know that song too. Look, it works. All right, well, now we go to a little bit sort of newer segment. I don't know if we were doing it last time you were here because I'm always tinkering. So this is more or less. So you get to tell me one thing that you want more of in the movie and one thing that you want less of in the movie.
Oh, I feel like at this point, if somebody's listened to the episode thus far, they already know my answers. I want more horror elements, more scares, more gore, more blood and guts. And I want less exposition. Plain and simple. Makes it a better movie.
Yeah. I want more Big Daddy Mars. I want a Big Daddy Mars movie.
Right? What were they doing before this happened, before Ice Cube showed up? Like, what was going on? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, because it's like everybody gets possessed sort of by, like, I guess, like a cloud of Martian spirits or something. Because he's the leader, right? But was he the leader of the mining crew? And then when he got gassed out, he's like, well, I'm just still the leader? Or is that the spirit of a Martian leader? What is happening?
I want it all. I want to know why they turn the way they do, the violence, the mutilation, the Mad Max of it all with the leather and the tire shoulder pads.
Mad Max as well.
Yeah, I want the backstory.
Yeah, little Mad Max, little Hellraiser. Like, there's so many little tastes of other films in this movie that, fortunately, you know, I'm like, hey, it all tastes good. So bring it on. Okay, well, is there anything else specifically you wanted to talk about before we jump into the falling action of the show?
So I have a trivia question for you.
Uh-oh. Did I study is the question.
You probably did the same reading I did for the most part. I was always befuddled by this and I had to look it up. What language is Big Daddy Mars speaking?
He's speaking a language?
It's gibberish, it sounds like, right? But it's supposedly a language.
I have
maybe
no
manipulated.
idea.
You don't know?
I have no clue.
Russian.
Russian?
Mm-hmm.
See, they were never really Martians to begin with. This was a Russian psyop where they got to Mars first, and then they buried the vault and just waited for the Americans to come and open it up.
You've cracked it.
Cracked the code. Russians on Mars, the prequel that we didn't know that we needed. Wow.
Right?
Very interesting. I didn't even know he spoke human words.
Yeah, it just sounds like gibberish, which is why I Googled it. I was like, what is he saying exactly? Because my captioning just says gibberish.
Oh.
I was like, probably right.
Did you watch it off of the DVD you have?
I watched it on, I own it on digital. So I just,
okay.
Yeah. But I also have the DVD, so.
Well, sometimes, like, if I have the DVD, I'll pop it in because it's like, then I'll, like when we did Hollow Man, right? There were so many interesting little featurettes on the DVD that I wanted to watch through as many of those as I could. And we will have justice for Hollow Man. One day we will spread the myth of the Kevin Bacon penis and more people will tune in to listen. Yeah, I don't think I have anything that, nothing left. We can move on. Look at that.
Okay.
Look at that.
Clean sweep.
Yeah. I covered it all already. It's very rare that I actually make sure that my notes are handled without looking at them. So thank you for keeping me on track. But now we go to Critics Corner. And we get to hear all of the naughty and nefarious things that the critics said about this movie, which I'm sure are abundant. So
I get to know who I'm going to add to my firmly worded email list.
Everybody's getting firmly worded emails. Let's see. So with a Metascore of 35, we have a low on the board of a 20. And that is from the Austin Chronicle. So, that means it's Mark Savlov. He says, It keeps you off balance, all right, but not enough to obscure the sad fact that Ghost of Mars is a muddled, derivative disaster straight on through.
This guy, I'm convinced, doesn't know how to have fun.
I don't think I've seen him have fun yet. I don't think I've seen a positive review on the board ever from poor Mark, so.
Yep.
Yeah, sorry, bud. It is maybe derivative, but I think intentionally so.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
I've listened to your show, so I know he's never a fan of things that I like.
His name pops up a lot.
So, yeah, never a fan of stuff I like.
Yeah, he's not. Well, let's go. We've got 5 25s on the board. So I'm going to let you pick which one you want to go with, but I may gently lean in the direction of the Christian Science Monitor and David Starrett, but there's also the Miami Herald, the San Francisco Chronicle, New York Daily News, and the New York Post.
No, I want the one that's piqued your interest.
Yes, okay. I didn't read it, but anytime the Christian Science Monitor is reviewing a movie that I talk about on this show, I'm like, I have to read this because it's going to be weird. Okay, so it says Carpenter pulls out all the action adventure stops, but he and co-scripter Larry Sulkis forget to write dialogue the audience could listen to without howling in disbelief. Wow, David, you nailed it, bro.
Nailed it.
Well done. I agree.
No email for him.
Nope. You don't get the email list. We'll send you a thank you email saying,
right,
you know
I'll send
what?
him a fruit basket.
I like this movie more than you do, but you are spot on about that dialogue, sir. Okay. So let's go. That was 2. We'll jump over the 38 and get to the 42 because this is William Arnold at the Seattle Post-Intelligencer says a redundancy and a bore. The characters are harrowingly unsympathetic. The action sequences are by the numbers, and Carpenter's usual saving grace, his sense of humor, is nowhere in evidence.
The by the numbers is what sells it for me. Like I'm getting what I paid for. Like you're giving me these action set pieces. How is that a problem?
But also, like, come on, a dissolve within a dissolve within a dissolve, a flashback within a flashback?
You don't get that everywhere.
That is not by the numbers. And John Carpenter himself said, I did things out of order so that it wasn't like those other things. So, Sorry, Will, he tried to make you happy. That's why you just got to make the movie that you want to make and not try to please the critics because you're going to run into that. All right, let's see. We've got Salon on the board at a 60. This is Andrew O'Hare. It might be nice if Ghost of Mars had more to offer than snappy repartee and shameless gore, or if it could borrow little narrative tension from its alien chainsaw forebears.
I don't think he watched the same movie we watched. That sounds opposite of our take.
Yeah. Well, that's why I was like, Salon, what are you doing here? This is not normal. How did you get your hands on this movie? Who forced somebody to go watch and review this for Salon? That's an editor's mistake right there. But we'll move up to LA Weekly because LA Weekly gave us an 80. And this is Paul Malcolm. It says, it's cheap thrills all the way. Served up with a kind of situational purity that only Carpenter seems to care for these days. It's that simple and that much fun.
Yay.
Paul.
Yay, Paul.
Yeah. You can join us on the island.
That's right. Where I will die for this movie.
Yeah, so not really unsurprising. I was a little bit surprised to see an 80 at the top of the board, though. I was not super confident that we were going to get like a really positive one to end on. And then a lot of the times I'll read the negative ones and be like, that's not wrong. Can't disagree with any of that. But yeah, I still enjoyed it. So sorry.
Yeah, I'm surprised an 80. Honestly, because even though I love this film, I am willing to stand up and say it is bad. It is not a good movie.
No, it's not.
So an 80, that's surprising.
Yeah, but I think, I don't even remember that person's name already. It's left my brain, but nice to see that sort of enjoyment factor was a large part in the rating for that review. We're just like, it's fun. Now shut up. Like, yeah, do you want to have fun or not? If you don't, okay, go try to get scared somewhere else, you know, pick your poison, but it's always nice to see somebody that like knows what they're getting themselves into. All right, well, now that we've heard all those nasty things, it's time for the gateway drug movie. So, what is a movie that somebody who has not seen Ghosts of Mars might use as a launching pad to get them to watch Ghosts of Mars?
I've already said it. It's Assault on Precinct 13. Because all you're doing is taking the next logical evolutionary step by just putting them in space. I think.
Yeah, no, that's a good one. And, it's Carpenter as well. So go back to the 70s and see him like sort of in his element and in his heyday, making that kind of stuff. And then if you ever wondered what that would look like on Mars, you push play on Ghosts of Mars.
Exactly.
I had a tough time with this one because there are so many that while during the course of watching the movie, I was like, oh, there's that and that and that. Like, really, which one would be the one? And I think I settled on Doom, the one that has Kyle Urban and Dwayne The Rock Johnson. Yeah.
That's a guilty pleasure movie of mine. I've seen it like 100 times.
Oh, wow. Yeah. So that was 4 years after this one. Sort of features Dwayne in a star building role as well, but Carl Urban's really good in it. It also has Rosamund Pike and Richard Brake and Doug Jones. So again, good cast.
Yeah.
Kind of, I think it takes place in space too. Space Marines are sent to investigate strange events at a research facility on Mars. Oh shit, Doom could be on Mars Madness. Look at that. It's the same movie. I did. I've only seen Doom once and I liked it, but I didn't realize it was on Mars. I played the video game a lot on PC when I was a kid, but did not connect the dots.
No, it's also not a good movie, but
that much I know.
Endlessly watchable for me. So fun.
I might spin that one. I got to watch something else for tomorrow for sure, but I'm kind of in the mood for Doom right now. Now that I know that it takes place on Mars, man, I still got the rest of the month. I can shoehorn it in there if I want to.
You could.
I could, and I might. All right, cool. Well, good to know. But let's see. Is there time permitting? There is. I always write it down as time permitting. We do word association.
Yay.
I
had so much fun throwing that at you on Hollow Man.
Right? I regret my answers.
I don't
really regret them, but I was like, oh man, if someone listens to this.
They were so funny. No, so good.
I know a lot of the time when I do it, I feel like people are very reserved in what they want to say. Or maybe it's just like I'm trying to catch them in a trap and they avoid the trap. So I was like, all right, well, this one was a fun one to pull words from because one of the first things in the movie, I was like, what the hell did that guy just say? And so that's what we're going to do. All right. So just take a deep breath, free your mind, and we will begin. All right. Trans marinara.
Spaghetti sauce.
Desolation.
Demolish.
Big Daddy Mars.
Sexy.
Flashback.
Too many.
Decapitation.
Pikes.
Yeah. Cool. That went well. I like that. Big Daddy Mars is sexy.
Is sexy. He does it for me. No.
I mean, they didn't call him like leader of the clan or whatever. They called him Big Daddy Mars. I think they knew.
That's the sexy part is the nickname, not what he looked like.
Yeah, that's fair. Right? Big Daddy Mars. Let's get that sequel going. One of the questions that I added to the wheel recently was like, which minor character deserves a spinoff? And I would say maybe Big Daddy Mars.
1,000%.
Yeah.
Yes.
If you just named a movie Big Daddy Mars and didn't even pretend that it was like connected to Ghosts of Mars, but still just like did it in the making of the film, could be pretty entertaining.
Agreed. And you wouldn't even have to use the same actor. Like it wouldn't matter.
Nope.
So we could do it today.
Who's the biggest guy that I can think of? Who's the guy that plays Reacher? Get his big ass in there and he can be extra Big Daddy Mars.
Yeah, see, I want a guy that's not like a John Cena. I want somebody that's like really good at action, but not super ripped. That's a good call. That guy's a good call. I don't know his name, but yeah.
Alan Rickson.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, he's huge.
Let's do that, and then let's throw in like somebody like Josh Hutcherson to give him like a run for his money.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I'd watch it.
Okay. All right. Well, this has been fun as always. But I want you to tell my audience what you're working on, because you've been releasing some episodes from the vault, some things from the past as you prepare for season 5.
Yes, sir.
Correct? Yes.
Yep, coming up on season 5, the show is Let's Talk Turkeys with an S, and turkey being a bad movie, so similar to what you do here. But we do a full plot walkthrough of our films from beginning to end, and we dissect the scenes and laugh about them. At the moment, like you said, season 5 is forthcoming, so still working on getting that together. But in the meantime, releasing episodes from our former Patreon. I shut that down, so I'm moving those episodes over to the main feed. And I got to tell you, listening back to some of my old episodes, because I'm like re-editing and remastering some of them, and I forgot how delightful I am. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. No, my co-hosts and my guest hosts were such joys. I've been so lucky with who I've had on my show. You are included in that bunch. So hopefully everyone will want to check that out, because the old episodes are equally as fun as the new.
Well, you did an episode with your husband.
I've done a couple with him. Yes, he's a comic book guy. So we did The Punisher with Dolph Lundgren.
Oh, yeah.
Right. I need to release that one because I love that one. I just released Howard the Duck, which he was on. And I got to tell you, man, that movie also guilty pleasure. Guilty pleasure all the way. So
yeah, I got to go back and watch that one.
Yeah. Again, not a good movie, but damn it if it's not rewatchable. But as far as reaching me, I'm still looking for guests and movie suggestions for my season 5. So you can email me at letstalkturkeys, all one word, at yahoo.com. You can find me on Instagram, Facebook, Blue Sky, all the places under Let's Talk Turkeys, or me, Movie Miss. You can look me up as well.
Well, I will make sure that I make everything super convenient for the audience, where they can just look at the show notes and click, and it'll take them wherever they need to go.
Perfect. To Mars.
To Mars. And then hopefully somewhere with the email terminal on Mars, because they got those janky old 90s computers there. So you might be working with dial-up on Mars, but you will find your way to Let's Talk Turkeys and to Movie Miss. It's always a joy to talk to you. I'm glad you're doing well. Looking forward to season 5 finding its way to our ears. And that's all I got for you.
Thank you so much for having me back. I absolutely love this time with you. It's such a joy. Talking these bad movies is so fun.
It is. And like I said, you're welcome here anytime. And I do remember that I do have something for you. You're going to be back not that long from now. We're going to be talking about a Jennifer Lopez movie for Junifer Lopez. We're going to talk about The Cell.
Again, so excited. I actually ordered the Arrow Special Edition Blu-ray.
Ooh, I might do that too.
I would have honestly purchased anyway, but it was on sale. So I was like, why not? So hopefully I'll have lots of goodies and nuggets for that episode.
Well, when we just got a new TV like after Black Friday, it was sale and everything. So I was like, it's time. We got it. The first movie I watched was The Cell, because I was like, this movie looks amazing. Yep. And I really want to see those production design choices and the costuming and the colors on that big TV. So
I cannot wait to get into that.
Yeah, that's going to be a lot of fun. So yeah, tune back in June.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Well, have yourself a wonderful night, and we'll touch base soon.
You too. Thanks, Nick.
Anytime.
Thanks to Movie Miss for coming back on the show. She is always a delight to hang out and talk bad movies with. You can find her on Instagram, Blue Sky, and Facebook at Let's Talk Turkeys. You can get in touch on X at Gobble Podcast and Facebook at Let's Talk Turkeys. Also, Slasher at Let's Talk Turkeys, the podcast. and look for Let's Talk Turkeys on YouTube, but fear not, I will have all of that stuff up one click away in the show notes. As for me, I will be wrapping up Mars Madness with Red Planet, so tune in next week for that one. And of course, thank you to everyone who took the time to listen to the episode. I know there's a seemingly infinite number of options when it comes to podcasts, and I appreciate you letting me into your ear holes and hopefully into your hearts. In all seriousness, though, time is valuable, and I am very grateful that you've entrusted me with yours. If you enjoy the show, please consider leaving a review or at least a rating and telling a friend about it. If you don't enjoy it, then maybe let's keep that between us. As I mentioned in the open, the new members-only section is in fact live at badmovieswelove.captivate.fm/support, where you're going to get access to a bunch of goodies for only $5 a month. And I would absolutely love to hear from you, so if you have a bad movie you love and would like to be a guest on the show, you can contact me at badmovieswelove@theshice.com or badmovieswelove spelled LUV on Twitter and Instagram. And until next time, take care, be well, stay safe, and have fun however you get your movies.